All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And today, we're diving headfirst into SpaceX's Starship program.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be taking a real close look at all the modifications that were made to Starship S33,
Okay.
which is, a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Because it's the first V2 Starship second stage prototype.
It is.
And, that means this isn't just like another prototype.
Right.
It's really setting the standard.
Yeah.
For all the future Starship V2s.
Blueprint.
Exactly. Yeah, and we've got some really awesome intel on exactly what's changed.
Cool.
And I'm really excited to get into it.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here is that S33 actually started its life as something completely different.
Huh.
Originally, it was planned as the final V1 prototype.
Oh, wow.
And then, plot twist, they decided to scrap most of those original parts and upgrade it to a full-blown V2.
So it's like a Frankenstein kind of situation.
It is.
Where they're like taking the old and making it new.
Yeah. So what made them make such a big shift?
Well, I mean, SpaceX, they're all about rapid iteration and pushing the limits.
Yeah.
They probably realized that incorporating all the new design advancements into S33 would just be way more efficient than starting from scratch.
Even if it meant a lot more work, huh?
Even if it meant reworking a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But it highlights their commitment to just, staying ahead.
To moving fast.
Moving fast, yeah.
Breaking things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it really shows that they are willing to
adapt.
And just, evolve their plans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's actually, dig into some of these modifications that make S33 a true V2.
Right.
First up, the payload bay.
Okay.
It's gone on a little bit of a diet.
It has.
It's shrunk down to just 3 rings instead of the original 5.
Quite a noticeable change.
Yeah, it's a pretty big change.
Yeah.
Why do you think they did that? Well, this modification is all about maximizing efficiency for those, ambitious deep space missions.
Of course, right.
By making the payload bay smaller, they've opened up more space for fuel and oxidizer tanks.
So they can go further.
More range and the ability to carry heavier payloads.
Which is important if we're thinking about,
Absolutely.
Mars and beyond.
For missions to Mars and beyond.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it's like trading a little bit of cargo space for the potential to reach, farther into the cosmos.
Further out.
Yeah, I think that's a trade-off I can get behind.
I think so, too.
Okay, next up, we've got the forward flaps.
Okay.
These aren't just any old flaps, though.
Yeah.
They're smaller, they're pointier.
More aerodynamic.
And they've been moved up a bit on the fuselage.
A little bit higher, yeah.
I'm guessing there's a reason for that, right?
There is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The new flaps have a dual purpose. First, the smaller, more streamlined shape helps reduce drag during re-entry.
Okay, smoother.
Smoother, but more controlled.
Controlled, okay.
But also, and maybe even more importantly, this design is a response to the challenges that earlier prototypes faced.
Oh, right.
Remember all that melting between the flaps?
Yeah, that can't be good.
Not a good time.
No.
So by making them smaller and moving them higher up, they're minimizing the heat buildup in those areas.
Trying to prevent that from happening again?
Essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Safeguarding against it.
Be smarter, not harder. Right.
Exactly.
All right, well, it seems like a lot of these modifications are about learning from the past.
Spirit.
The mistakes, making those incremental improvements.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, speaking of learning from the past,
let's
talk about the heat shield.
Okay.
That new heat shield layout is a pretty big deal.
It is. It is.
I mean, considering what this thing has to go through during re-entry,
all right,
that heat shield is super important.
It's absolutely vital.
Yeah.
The heat shield is Starship's main defense against all that heat during re-entry.
The scorching temperatures.
Scorching, exactly.
Yeah.
And the new layout offers much more robust protection. We're going to make sure that the spacecraft and everything inside can withstand that fiery plunge back to Earth.
So it's like they upgraded their armor before going into battle.
Exactly.
All right, well, this next modification has kind of a unique name.
It does.
That sounds very SpaceX.
Very SpaceX.
We're talking about the PEZ dispenser.
Ah, yes, the PEZ dispenser.
Installation.
That's right.
Can you explain what that is?
It's the mechanism for deploying Starlink satellites.
Okay.
And they made some changes to how it's installed on S33.
Okay, how so?
It's now installed after they stack the nose cone and the payload bay.
Okay.
And a portion of it is actually inside the nose cone itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a puzzle.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah, but why go through all that trouble to rearrange it? Efficiency.
Ah.
Always a top priority.
Of course.
This new method saves space and streamlines the entire process.
So they can get those Starlinks out.
Quickly and efficiently.
Quickly and efficiently, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, okay, cool.
All right.
Last but not least,
okay,
we've got a modification that sounds a little bit more technical.
All right.
Independent downcomers for each Raptor vacuum engine.
Now, that does sound complicated.
It does sound a little complicated, yeah. I know downcomers have something to do with propellant flow.
They do.
But can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so imagine the propellant.
Yeah.
Liquid oxygen and methane.
Yeah.
Traveling from the tanks to the engines, like rush hour.
Oh.
In the old design, all these Raptor vacuum engines shared the same downcomers, which are the pipelines that carry the propellant.
Right.
So it was like everybody trying to get on the same highway at the same time.
So like a propellant traffic jam.
Okay. Now with S33, each engine has its own dedicated downcomer. It's like giving each engine its own express lane. Smoother, more efficient flow.
So happier engines.
Happier engines.
Better performance.
Better performance.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What's that?
It seems like they really are trying to just squeeze every little bit of performance they can.
You're picking up on a key theme here.
Yeah.
It's not just about making things work.
Right.
It's about making them work flawlessly and efficiently.
Yeah, okay.
Paul, that's the philosophy.
They're perfectionists.
They are.
Yeah. It really is all about optimizing.
So, speaking of optimizing, let's talk about the testing that S33 has been through.
Right.
Because it's been through a lot.
It has. They really put it through its paces.
Yeah, they don't just build these things. They test them to make sure they can handle everything. That's right. They want to be sure that they can handle the stresses of spaceflight.
Yeah, exactly.
And S33 is no exception.
Okay, so it all started on October 26th.
Okay.
When S33 was rolled out to the Massey Outpost.
All right.
Which is SpaceX's kind of like outdoor testing area.
They're proving grounds.
Yeah, exactly, for Starship.
Yeah.
So walk us through those tests. What happened out there?
Okay, so the first thing they did was an ambient pressure test.
Okay.
That was on October 28th.
Okay.
And this is where they check for any leaks.
Right.
And make sure the spacecraft can hold pressure at sea level.
They don't want any surprises.
No, you don't want any surprises.
Especially when you're dealing with volatile propellants.
Exactly. Especially when this thing is designed to carry people.
To other planets.
To other planets, yeah. Safety first.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and then they did the cryogenic proof tests.
Okay.
And get this. They did 3 full cryogenic proof tests. 3.
Wow. Why so many?
Well, they want to be extra sure, right?
Yeah.
Cryogenic testing simulates the extreme cold of space.
Okay.
So they fill those tanks up with supercooled propellant, the liquid oxygen, and methane, and they see how it does.
Okay.
Because it's a huge temperature difference.
Right, from Texas to space.
From like a warm day in Texas to the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, right?
Yeah, so the materials
expand and contract.
They're really pushing this thing to its limits.
They are. They're looking for any weaknesses, anything that might cause problems.
So they're trying to break it here?
Kind of.
So it doesn't break in space.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Okay.
By doing multiple tests, they gather a ton of data.
Okay.
They want to be totally confident.
Right. That it can handle the
stresses of spaceflight, All
right. So after all of that at Massey, it was rolled back to Mega Bay 2.
That's right. On November 2nd.
Okay. What happens next?
Engine integration.
Okay. So that's happening right now.
That's what they're doing now.
Okay. And that's where they install
the Raptor engines.
All those powerful Raptors.
Yes. All 6 of them.
Okay.
3 sea-level engines.
Okay.
3 vacuum engines.
Okay. Now, I know the Raptor engine is,
It's a beast.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It is.
But what's the difference between those two?
Well, it's about performance, right?
Okay.
Different engines for different parts of the flight.
Okay.
The sea-level engines.
Yeah.
Those are for maximum thrust at sea level.
Where the air is thick.
The thickest. Yeah. They're the ones that get Starship off the ground.
Okay, so they're built for, like...
They're the workhorses.
Powering through all that air resistance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then, as it climbs higher, the air thins out.
Yeah.
And the vacuum engines take over.
Okay.
And those are more efficient.
Okay.
When you don't have all that air.
So for, like, orbital maneuvers and stuff?
For space, basically.
Okay, it's like a relay race.
It is.
Where each engine is best at.
It's part.
It's part. That's really cool.
And that smooth transition between the engines.
Yeah.
That's key to the mission's success.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible, really.
It is.
This whole, like, specialized engine thing.
Yeah.
Working in perfect harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So we know engine integration's happening right now.
Right.
What else should we be watching for with S33?
Well, this is just the beginning for S33.
Okay.
Remember, it's going to be flying with Booster 14.
Right, on Starship Flight Test 7.
Exactly.
So what kind of, tests are we going to see before they actually launch this thing?
Well, after they're done integrating the engines, they'll do static fire tests.
Okay.
Where they fire it with the engines.
Right.
But it's still on the ground.
Yeah, strapped down.
Strapped down, exactly.
Right.
They got to make sure the engines are good, that everything's working together.
It's like a dress rehearsal.
Basically.
Before the real deal.
The big show.
The final exam.
Yeah.
Before it graduates. Okay, and then of course they have to do all the pre-flight stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Loading it up, inspecting.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. All those people.
Yeah.
All that
working together
to get this done.
It's incredible.
Okay, well, taking a step back, looking at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does S33 really mean for Starship, I guess, for space exploration?
I think it's a really big step
Okay.
for the whole program.
Yeah.
It shows how committed SpaceX is to innovation.
The pushing the boundary.
Pushing the boundary. Exactly. Yeah. All these modifications.
Heated payload bay, the flaps.
The heat shield, the downcomers.
Yeah, it all points to a future.
Yeah.
Where Starship can go further, carry more.
And do it all more efficiently.
Right. And it's not just about Mars, is it?
No, this has implications for everything.
Yeah, lunar missions, even like point-to-point travel. Here.
Right here on Earth.
Like, imagine getting on a Starship in New York.
Yeah.
And being in Tokyo in an hour.
It's wild.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
It feels like we really are on the edge of a new era.
A new era of space travel.
Yeah, and S33 is leading the way.
It really is.
Well, this has been a really cool deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I learned a ton.
Me too.
I hope our listeners did too.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep watching the skies.
Yeah, because the future is happening.
It is.
Right
in front of us.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Keep exploring.